camp counselors, a mysterious killer, blood everywhere, and a protagonist who might be the one doing all the killing. Welcome back, it's me, Velvet, and today we're breaking down the 2018 meta slasher comedy, You Might Be the Killer. And yeah, the title does kind of give away the twist. We open on Sam, our main character. He is covered in blood and running through the woods screaming in fear. After barricading himself in a cabin in the woods, get it? It's the guy from Cabin in the Woods. He calls his horror-obsessed friend, Chuck. Now that we have our two main characters on screen, our main character who's running right now is played by Kranz. And like I said before in the beginning, you should know him from Cabin in the Woods. He's the main reason I even decided to check this movie out because, well, Cabin in the Woods, it's a movie I like. And we have Alyson Hannigan playing Chuck. You should know her well, depending on her age. She's from American Pie. She plays the girl who says one time at band camp and then tells you a pretty intense lewd story about her one time at band camp. And then later on you'd know her as Lily from How I Met Your Mother. Sam called Chuck for help, but it's not that normal kind of help you expect he would need. He needs help because there's a killer on the loose and he's gotten pretty much everyone. And luckily for Sam, Chuck is a big horror buff. Also, is it me or Chuck kind of looks a little too happy here about the situation? Chuck asks Sam, why didn't he just call the cops? He has his cell phone and it clearly works. And Sam tells Chuck, yeah, he did, but the sheriff is like 77 years old. And he left a voicemail and they're in the middle of nowhere, so there's your explanation for why there's no police in this movie. Chuck, like us, wants to know how this all happened and what's the body count right now, okay? But Sam is confused and can't remember anything. Sam starts to remember what happened. We flash back to the beginning, and our body count drops down to 0. Sam is in charge of the camp counselors for this camp, and they're there early to, help set up, prepare before the kids show up. And he makes them put all of their cell phones into a lockbox, which personally, I wouldn't do that, especially at a camp. You never know what could happen. What if someone gets hurt? I'd let them keep their phones, but for the movie to work, we have to give them up, and they give up their phones. The movie is nice enough to give us a rundown of all the counselors, but it doesn't really matter, they're all going to die. And only people we should really care about is Sam, Chuck, and Amani. Amani is his love interest, kind of, and our final girl, Jamie. And maybe Brad, but the rest don't really matter. Oh, and who the hell could forget Steve the Kayak King, the most important character in this entire movie? We're brought back to the present with Sam hiding in the cabin. Chuck still wants a description of the killer and Sam just tells her that he's really ugly. But then something really scary happens with Chuck. This guy buys a plushie and she wants $26 for that.
Excuse me.
$26.66.
What a rip. You can get something better for $26, right? I don't know the plushie market, but you've got to be able to get something better than that, right? Sam runs out of luck. The killer's found him, and we can see him creeping towards him. Well, his shadow. Something odd happens though. Sam starts to hear whispers in his head that only he can hear, saying something like, kill, kill. Just like Jason. The killer lights the cabin on fire, causing Sam to run, and we get a look at our killer. It's Jason fused with the mask, Jim Carrey's mask, because it looks all wooden, so it gives me the mask vibes. Sam, terrified, runs like hell from the killer, and is able to hunker down in another cabin. Sam is back on the phone with Chuck, and they're trying to figure out who the killer is. They try to narrow it down because they know it's a guy, and at first Chuck thinks it's Steve, the Kayak King. We absolutely know it's not Steve, because Steve is dead. Which brings our kill count to 6. Gathered around Steve the Kayak King's body, the group decide what they're going to do. And they come up with a pretty good plan. They decide to get all their cell phones and call for help. But unfortunately for them, when they go to get their phones, the safe has been ripped open and all the phones are missing. Sam says this is impossible. Only he knows the combination. We find out that the combination is Sam's birthday. Come on, man. Password 101. You don't use your birthday, the name of a loved one, anything like that. Your marriage date, people are going to try those first, especially if they know you. Okay, I really like this group so far because the next plan is to get the keys and get in the van and get the hell out of there. Never mind, the killer's a lot more than Braun because he destroyed the engine. Doesn't look like they're getting out that way. Alright, next plan is for them to split up into 2 teams. One is offense and one is defense. Defense is going to set up traps Home Alone style, while offense goes to, I don't know, wander around the woods. This seems stupid. Why would you not stay as a group? Set traps and then make a perimeter to fight the killer. If one of you is the killer, since you're in a group, the person who leaves is obviously the killer. Our first booby trap is a simple spike trip filled with stakes. Even if the killer is like Jason, it might slow him down enough where you can get some distance. Not a bad trap if I do say so myself. Our next booby trap also isn't half bad either, especially if you're going to stay as a group, which they should have done to fight the killer. It's making a perimeter out of pots and pans on a wire, so if the killer passes by it, steps on it, it'll make noise and they know where he's coming from. I really like this plan so far if they stuck together. Sam, out on patrol by himself, I don't know why you do that, get in the group and defend each other, but fine. Finds two campers whose names I don't remember, but who cares? They're just here for the body count. Sam tries to go out there and talk to them, and he's right in front of them or behind them. Either way, they're going to see them and they're going to be able to hear him. But they don't reply. It's like they don't even see the guy. It's not like he even exists. As the counselor, I think it's Freddy. I don't care enough to remember, but I believe it's Freddy. Freddy goes to turn around and he's face to face with the killer. Which, why didn't the other counselors see the killer? Why didn't Sam see the killer? He's looking at the killer, right? I know killers have teleportation, but come on, they're looking in that direction. At least the girl is. We get another kill. Freddy is stabbed in the gut. Nancy gets her throat slit. I know her name because Sam yelled it. But yes, Nancy gets her throat slit, adding another kill to the count. The killer slowly approaches Sam, but for some reason, he doesn't kill him. While trying to figure out why the killer didn't kill him, Chuck asks Sam, does he have the blood on him? And Sam says yes, a little, but it's not a little bit of blood. It is a lot of blood. Next, she asks him, is he carrying a weapon of any kind? And he says no, just a baseball bat, but it's not a baseball bat. It's some kind of weird bone machete. And if we go back to the beginning, he's holding a bat. While trying to figure out who the killer is, Chuck says this to Sam.
Keep saying that the killer's like hideously ugly, and you were definitely not that. Aww.
Aw, good for you, man. Still on the phone with Sam, Chuck looks around the store and sees a poster that says, Mask Maker, meet your maker, giving her the idea that it's a mask influencing him to kill everyone. At first, Sam says no, but he looks into his backpack and he finds an evil-looking mask that really reminds me of the mask from The Mask. This jogs Sam's memory, and we find out that he's the one who takes out the Canoe King, bringing our kill count to 6. I can't really show a lot of it here, but I'm pretty much going to have to censor the whole screen. But Sam, under the mask's influence, strings up the Canoe King and just starts going to town on him, stabbing him over and over again. As Sam finishes up cutting up his flesh like a piñata, the leg of the flesh piñata involuntarily kicks his mask off his head, allowing him to regain his consciousness. And this confirms it. Sam is the killer. Well, the mask controlling Sam is the killer. While under the mask control, Sam really can't do anything. It's like it takes over his mind. That's why he can't remember anything, and he's having to piece it together while it comes back to him. Chuck, I think she has feelings for him because she asks about Amani in a tone. She tries to justify it by saying maybe he can talk to someone who cares about him and maybe she'll believe him. Alright, new plan. Let's find Amani. Oh, she's dead. We get a little flashback to the year before all of the killings started and tells us a little bit about their relationship. It's not really that important to us, so I'll summarize it real quick. It was a summer fling. Sam wishes it was more, but Amani tells him, no, it's just for the summer, and that's about it. Sam tries to do the smart thing and destroy the evil mask by burning it, but it also starts to burn his face, which is not good. Now we know the mask is linked to him, so if he tries to destroy it, he might destroy himself. Before Sam can try to figure out another way to destroy the mask, 2 campers show up, trying to hunt him down. It's Brad and our final girl, Jamie. Sam is able to get away without anyone losing their life and finds another cabin to hide in. We get a flashback to 2 counselors making out by the pool, and the killer appears in front of them, menacingly. And Sam, still under the mask control, bum rushes them and chops his head clean in half. Holy crap, jeez! And he takes the girl out by drowning her, which I argue is worse than getting your head chopped in half. At least if your head is getting chopped in half, boom, you're dead, but getting drowned, you have time to think about it. You can feel yourself slowly slipping away. I would hate to go out like that. Now, how could they try to survive this situation? I get the guy is screwed. No matter what you do, you're going up against a souped up killer. He may not be invincible like Jason, but he can move. And he doesn't know there's a killer on the loose yet, so I can see why he thinks someone would be playing a trick on them. But the girl has a chance to make it. You can see this is very real. Seeing his head chopped in half, run. I don't know how far she could get, but girl, run. The only thing I think you can do other than run in this situation, maybe jump in the pool, but the killers always find a way to get you when you're in a body of water. Usually they electrocute you. You never see Jason or Michael Myers trying to swim after someone in the pool, so the pool might work if there's no electrical stuff around, but it's just a matter of time. The killer's just going to wait for her to get out and get her. I'd still say run, but I believe that's the only thing you can do in this situation if you're her. And we are not slowing down. We have two counselors raiding the kitchen looking for snacks. Now these two are my favorite. I don't know their names, but I can relate to them. I'd be doing the same thing. Oh hell yeah. Big Boy finds the graham crackers and the marshmallows. Now all they need to do is find chocolate. Oh man, before he could even eat those delicious s'mores, he's run through with a machete. The bone machete. Poor guy, didn't even get a last meal. And our counselor actually puts up a bit of a fight and knocks the sword out of his hand with a pan. But remember, the mask gives him some powers, so even without a weapon, he's formidable. He grabs her and shoves her head into a fridge and just starts going to town on her head with the fridge door. Man, this is another horrible way to go. It's slow and it's painful and you feel every hit to the jaw. Now let's try to see how they can handle this situation. Man, maybe get out alive. For the guy, again, I don't see a chance. Again, they don't know there's a killer on the loose yet, and he just teleported behind him and stabbed him. Again, in this situation, the girl has a chance. She actually put up a decent fight so far. Her options were to fight, flight, or freeze. What would you do? Would you fight? What would have been the best thing to do in this situation? I would still say run. If you're in a kitchen, grab some sort of weapon and book it. Try to find people. You're stronger in numbers. This guy seems to want to pick you off one by one when you're in a weakened state. And I'd hate to say it, but if worse comes to worse, you can use the people around you as a shield. Chuck asks Sam, why doesn't he just take the mask off? And Sam tells him he doesn't want to when it's on. The mask is controlling him by hitting with the little, the Jason sounds that kill, that. He's hitting him with that, so he can't fight it. And finally, we get to see what happened to Steve the Kayak King. And maybe I can actually give you guys my thoughts on how he can survive this, because I've been putting it off, because I don't know how he got into that tree. He just gets killed and put into the tree. Well, we see Sam string him up, but we don't see how he got there. So now we can finally see what happened. Instead of the normal killing sounds the mask makes, it tells him, "You've always hated Steve the Kayak King." It doesn't really have anything to do with this video, I just thought it was funny. Oh, and honestly, Sam's a pretty good killer. He's good at stealth, nobody really knows yet, so Steve goes down like that. Run, Steve, there's not much Steve could have done here. But looking around Steve's surroundings, he's in a garage for canoes, it looks like. I think Steve was screwed no matter what though, because he's just like the other counselors. They don't know someone's out there trying to get them. But let's say in this scenario, Steve does know. He could run into the garage and pull down the door and buy himself some time. I don't know much about canoes, but there has to be sharp tools in the garage, right? But the good old tried and true run would probably be the best in this situation. Again, try to find a group of people. Chuck asked Sam a good question. Why did he even put on the evil mask? And he tells Chuck, I didn't, which leads us to another flashback. We're back down to 0 kills before this all went down. The counselors are telling each other ghost stories, and Sam tells them the history of the land that his parents own, the land they're currently on. Basically, settlers came to the land and brought with them evil, black magic, stuff like that, which unleash the evil. Suddenly, these settlers were going out in the strangest ways, taking themselves out, stuff like that. And it went on for a while until an old medicine man was able to trap the spirit in an oak tree on the land. But someone cut down that oak tree years later. And he was a woodworker. and he was compelled to make the mask, which is strange because he specialized in stuff like toys for children. And that's how we get our evil mask. It's the spirits that possesses you when you put it on. Imani decides to tell everyone, let's go find the mask, and runs off with everyone to find the mask. Luckily for Sam, nobody knows where the grave is but him. Sam is worried that someone might actually find the grave, and goes to the site to see if anyone's there, but no one's there. But Drew followed him. Drew goes and searches the grave and finds the mask just sitting there, not buried or anything like that. At first, it looks like Drew's going to wear the mask, but Sam is able to stop her and tells her not to put it on. Sam thinks he was able to stop her, and she tells him, you put it on, and she puts it right on his face. Ah, man, I can't help but feel sorry for Sam in this situation. He was just trying to run a camp, have some fun, have a good time, unwinding in nature, unplug, and now Drew slaps an evil mask on his face, and everyone's gonna die. Let's see how she gets it. Now, with the mask on, it takes hold of poor Sam and tells him where he can get that sick bone machete he was using before. And oh boy, he puts that machete to work and stabs Drew. Also, good news, we're back on the board with 1 kill. What could Drew have done in this situation to survive? Run? She has no weapons. She doesn't have the strength to beat an unstoppable killer, even if he's not at full strength like Jason. The only thing she possibly could have done in this situation is run away and try to get back to everyone, since everyone's still alive, and tell them what happened. But she freezes and gets stabbed, so thanks Drew, you're the killer. You got everyone else killed. This is not Sam's fault, you did it. Chuck is nice enough to give us a quick recap of all of our kills. We're up to 9 now. Chuck asks Sam, how did Imani die? And that takes us back to when a lot more of them are alive. It's very frustrating though, because they're in a group and they should have just stayed in the group to fight the killer like I said before, but they decide to split up and some go to scout and Sam goes to bait the killer to fall into their spike trap. This is where they all screwed up and they don't even know it yet, because now Sam is alone. The mask is able to call out to him to kill, forcing him to don the mask one more time. Sam, as the killer, sets off the noise trap, letting them know where he is. Imani is the first one to get there, and she starts to stare down the killer face to face. She tries to trick Sam into jumping into the pit, but the plan fails and he throws her into the pit, killing her. What could she have done differently here to stay alive? I think the plan is pretty good, because even if the pit doesn't take him out, it'll at least buy you some time. He might get stuck on the spikes, and him trying to crawl out of the pit will buy you some time. I don't know if it's enough to be able to kill him, but at least you know where he is, and that you might be able to keep an eye on him, gather up everyone, and try to figure out a way to take him out by setting him on fire, beating him with the bat. I don't know, anything. Anything's better than letting him kill you, right? We get an update on the kill count. We're up to 10 now. While on the phone with Chuck, Sam learns that this is going to play out like a typical slasher movie. As soon as he puts on the mask, he's going to take out Brad, and Jamie's going to be the one to kill him because she's the final girl. Brad slowly and silently tries to sneak up on Sam. While Sam's on the phone with Chuck, Sam tries again to destroy the mask, first by jumping on it with his full weight, which is a terrible idea. You know it's linked to your face, so you just jumped on your face with your full weight. The mask begins to whisper to him, calling him, telling him to put it on and to kill. Brad takes way too long and Sam is able to put the mask on, and while Brad closes the distance, Sam turns around in full killer mode and takes both of his arms off with one swing. And Sam, not done with Brad yet, plunges his machete through Sam's stomach, killing him. Alright, what could Brad have done to stay alive in this situation? I'll tell you the easiest one, don't approach him. He's killed a lot of people, so he's probably really good at it. I wouldn't try to close the distance, I would run away. The best thing you could do is run away. There is no other option in this situation. Why would you close the gap? The only way I would have done anything else other than running in this situation is if I had some sort of ranged weapon, and I had a good shot on his head. But they don't in this situation. This is a camp. They have to have an archery range there, right? Find a bow and arrow and try to take a shot that way. But if you have no ranged weapon, the best thing to do in this situation is to run in the opposite direction. Sam goes after Jamie to wrap things up. And holy crap, Imani's still alive? Bringing our kill count back down to 10. Imani and Jamie are able to meet up and they make their way to a shed to do something they should have done a long time ago when they were still in a giant group, and that is to arm themselves with weapons. While their backs are turned, Sam is able to teleport straight to them, but he doesn't get in there and kill them. I don't know why, he just kinda stands there and lets them see him. Imani is able to kick him away, so I guess he's not completely immovable like a Jason, because you really can't do damage to Jason with a normal human kick. They're able to lock themselves in the shed, which they're not really safe because while they were panicking and closed the door, they dropped the key outside, and Sam is able to open the door and go after them. With some quick thinking, Jamie is able to land a good hit to Sam's face with a shovel. That gives the girls their chance to escape, and they lock Sam in the shed, which is a good move, and even luckier for them, that hit to the head from the shovel knocks off Sam's mask, bringing him back to reality. Sam explains to the girls what's happening with him, and of course they don't believe him, that the mask is evil and possessing him, making him kill all the people around him. Sam calls Chuck, and Chuck is able to confirm everything and lets them know that Imani's not going to make it, and Jamie's going to be the one to take out Sam. While Chuck is telling the girls that Imani is screwed no matter what she does, which, you know, that does suck, Sam is being called by the sweet siren sound of the mask to don it again and to kill. And these two just sit there while both Sam and Chuck are screaming at them to run because he's putting on the mask. Sam, in full killer mode, kicks open the door to the shed and starts hunting the girls down once again. In an interesting turn of events, Imani turns on Jamie and tries to kill Jamie because she says that she's going to change things and she's going to be the one to take out Sam. Which, if I was a betting man and I didn't know this was a whole meta horror movie, yeah, I'd bet on her. But that's not how this works. While Imani is monologuing, Jamie cracks her across the face, and then as a follow-up starts stabbing her in the head with the tip of the shovel. Man, I did not see the timid one doing all of that, but it looks like we're down to the final girl and the killer now. Oh, and that bumps our kill count back up to 11. What can Imani do in this situation to stay alive? That's easy. Don't betray the person who's on your team right now. Why would you do that? Okay, I get it, you're scared and you believe you're screwed no matter what you do, but still, you're giving up an ally and a potential shield when Sam gets to you. All she had to do was not betray her friend. Sam appears before Jamie, and Jamie gets ready to have the final fight, but Chuck tells her she's not gonna win this fight right now, not with a shovel. She needs to get somewhere with more power, somewhere with hollowed ground. She tells her that the woodcarver's grave where it all began would probably serve as the right spot. Sam doesn't go after Jamie though. Seeing Imani's dead body on the floor causes him to gain a little bit of his sanity back, and he's able to rip the mask off, and it looks painful. Sam eventually does find Jamie though, and luckily for her, he's not wearing the mask, so he tells her that they don't have to die. No one else has to die. All they have to do is bury the mask at the woodcarver's grave, and they should be fine. Jamie hesitantly agrees, and they head to the grave. Sam hands Jamie the mask and tells her to bury it because he can't be near the thing. It'll keep calling out to him and he'll put it on again. So he turns his back to her. Before Jamie can finish burying the mask, it starts to call out to her when she touches it, and she puts it on. Sam turns around and stabs Jamie with the machete, killing Sam, bringing our kill count to 12. Jamie is able to resist the mask. She's able to take it off and tosses it to the ground. She picks up the phone and tells Chuck that it's over and she did what she had to do. Jamie, remember our final girl, the innocent one? She picks up the mask before she leaves. What's she going to do with it? Is it still controlling her? I guess maybe it starts to gradually and slowly take over. Every time you put it on, it gets harder to take off. I don't know, but this can't be good, especially since she took the mask with her. What could Sam have done to survive? First thing, I would stay away from Jamie because she's fated to end things. I would make my way to the grave myself and bury the mask. He has a chance because Jamie doesn't know where the grave is. When Sam had his back turned to Jamie, she didn't answer him for a long time. I'm going to assume something's up, and I'm probably going to assume that she put on the mask because I know how it works if I was Sam. It calls out to you and you're pretty much powerless to fight it. I would have turned around a long time ago and I would have ran. But yeah, Sam is dead and we get a nice little sunrise as Jamie walks away. Remember, she still has that mask. What is she going to do with it? But we're not done yet. Flash forward to 2 years later. In true slasher fashion, Sam is back. He's been risen from the dead.
Rings of Saturn, this is Chuck.
Chuck!
And that's the end of our movie. Personally, I love this one. I do love how meta it is. I originally gave it a shot because I like Cabin in the Woods, and I saw the guy who played the stoner was in this movie, and took a look at it. It was fun, so I wanted to share it with you guys. So what did you think? Did you like it? Is this something you'd want to watch? Do you even like meta horror? I know I do. I like Cabin in the Woods, and I'm gonna do that one too, eventually. Would you have done something different in this situation? Would you have found an archery range and grabbed the bow and arrow and started trying to snipe him? I know I would have. But that's all I have for you for now. I have been Velvet. Please have a lovely time.